Hello there and welcome to another Consulting Room Pause for Thought. This time we're looking at why it's important to focus on existing customers when you're looking to grow your business, grow your revenue, why we shouldn't just make the sale and move on to the next one. So first thing is that it's more expensive to go and try and find new customers. It's between 6 and 7 times more expensive to find a new customer than it is to resell something to an existing one. Because repeat sales are less focused on price. That allows you to increase your profit margin too. And other benefits are that existing customers provide us with an opportunity to get feedback on our products and services, to improve our products and services. And new customers are just less likely to buy if we go out and find them. So research shows that the probability of selling to a new customer may be between 5 and 25%, whereas the probability of selling to an existing customer, if we target them correctly, is 60 to 70%. So it makes much more sense to really spend some time with our existing customers and try and sell to them, and focus on the lifetime value that we can gain from clients, from customers who are really bought into what we do. So the 4 R's there: we want to retain them as customers, we want them to repeat purchase over time, we want them to recommend us to other people, and we want them to refer us to other people as well. And we'll look what those things mean. First of all, what is a customer? You know, a customer is somebody who has invested in us as a business, as a person, that, you know, they've trusted us. We've gone through that trust process to a point at which they're happy to spend some money with us. They believed in the value that we could bring to whatever situation, problem, experience they wanted to solve. And what we need to do is to keep reinforcing that value, to keep reiterating that value, to keep repeating that value, because we've already invested them. We've invested our time in working with the customer, our money in marketing to and finding the customer, creating the lead. So make the most of that investment by keeping in touch. Because research shows that customers leave a business on the whole because they think the business can't be bothered with them. You know, we may think that they get a better offer somewhere else or somebody else can do it for them, but actually the most common reason that people move to somewhere else is they think that the business doesn't really care about me, they don't spend any time with me, they've had my money now, they don't care what I do, and it's quite easy for me to move somewhere else. If you manage your customers well, they're much more likely to tell other people about the experience, and that can lead to new business. To see you as a partner, somebody that they can work with on a long-term basis and build that loyalty and trust even more than when they made the first purchase, that makes it easier to secure future sales with that customer, with people that they refer you to. They're likely to erect barriers for your competitors. If they're happy with what you do, why would they need to go somewhere else? So when somebody else comes along with a proposition, if they're bought into you, your business, your product, your service, then they don't need to go anywhere else. They like to say, no, I've got that sorted, thanks very much. That means that for you, it takes less time to sell. That makes it more efficient, that makes it more profitable. And you may have come across this, is called the Ansoff matrix. So this is when you are looking to grow a business, to grow your revenue. There are 4 different areas you can look at across the bottom. You can look at your existing products or your new products, and then over on the left-hand side, your existing customers or your new customers. So which of those 4 are you going to do? Well, most people will focus on trying to find new customers, which is customer acquisition, or thinking, right, I need to create a new product, which is product introduction. Maybe both at the same time, which is business diversification. That's the most difficult one to do. The best place to start a lot of the time is market penetration, getting more of the same type of customers, more repeat business with the customers that you've got, because that's where the easiest pickings are to be had, and that is also where the most profit tends to sit. If you're creating new products and going out and finding new markets and new customers, that tends to reduce your profits, certainly in the short to medium term. So have you got satisfied customers? Do you talk to your customers? Do you know what they think of the experience of working with you? And a lot of businesses will say, yeah, our customers are happy. They may even do some form of feedback to say, yeah, we do a survey and we score 7.8 out of 10 on average. So people are happy with what we do. But a satisfied customer isn't enough. What we need to do is develop loyal customers, because loyal customers don't look elsewhere when they come to make that purchasing decision. Again, they don't consider other options, and they also promote your business. They tell other people about you. In fact, a chap called Fred Reichelt developed a benchmark method, which you may have come across, called Net Promoter Score, which a lot of businesses now use, a lot of big businesses use. So we'll have a look at how that works. So that's satisfied customer. If you talk to a satisfied customer and say, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you with the service we gave you? And everything was okay, they were satisfied, they were quite happy. Then what most people will do in their head on a scale of 1 to 10 is score you at about a 7. We think a 7 is good, maybe an 8 if you're being generous. But what Net Promoter Score says is, actually, that's pretty useless. 7s and 8s don't really count. A Net Promoter Score asks 2 questions, only 2 questions. Firstly, on a scale of 1 to 10, based on your recent experience, how likely would you be to recommend us to a colleague or friend? And then the second question is simply, why did you give that score? And it's as simple as that. That's the core of Net Promoter Score, because that gives you 2 very important pieces of information. One, you get a specific measurement that you can check over time and you can benchmark. And secondly, it gives you granular information about why people like or dislike or are indifferent about your service. So the way it works is on that scale of 0 to 10, 1 to 10, the 7s and 8s, which previously we might have thought, well, that's a pretty good score. Yeah, they seem happy. We ignore. They're called passives. They don't do anything. They don't actively go elsewhere. They don't tell people what a rotten time they had, but also they don't tell other people about your business, and they will consider other options. People who score 6 or less, there tends to have been a problem. Out of 10, a 6 or a 5 or a 4, we give that score because something wasn't quite right. Now, we call those detractors in the Net Promoter Score. They're people that might well tell other people what they didn't like. That's not good for your business. The people that are promoters, the people that will really work for our business and come back to us out of choice, freeze out the opposition and tell other people, are the promoters. They'll score you a 9 and a 10. So that's what we're really looking for in Net Promoter Score. Because a detractor tells people. This is just something I came across on Facebook a little while ago. This was a voucher. Somebody had a voucher from a shop in Sleaford, and they tried to use it, and the shop had said, sorry, the voucher's out of date. And the person wasn't happy. And what do people do when they're not happy, when they're detractors? Well, there are plenty of outlets on social media for them to have a pretty good rant about what they weren't happy with. Really, in capital letters, disappointed, etc., etc., etc. And the interesting thing about these is when people put those kinds of posts on social media, they get a lot of reactions. Here we see 81 people reacting, sad reaction, amazed reaction, angry reaction, and 123 comments on that. So is that the kind of publicity you want around your business? People who aren't happy? It's very, very easy for them to get a reaction. What we're looking for is people who are happy, those promoters, those 9s or 10s. So the way Net Promoter Score works is you ask people to score you on a scale of 1 to 10 on that specific question. How likely would you be to recommend us to a friend or colleague? And then the 9s or the 10s are your promoters, 7s or 8s you ignore, 6 or below are your detractors. So in this example here, 25% of people have scored us a 9 or a 10, and 5% have scored a 6 or a below. So your Net Promoter Score then is 25 minus 5, that's 20. So you'll end up with a Net Promoter Score somewhere between 0 and 100. The great thing about this is it's not a backward-looking measure. It's not how satisfied were you, it's how likely you are to promote. So it's a forward-looking measure of your success as opposed to a backward-looking measure. And it's a great tool to give you information. And a lot of businesses do use it to give them information. Some of the biggest brands use Net Promoter Score. So you probably, if you've bought something, certainly if you bought a car or something like that, a big purchase, you may well have had that question where they ask you to score 9 out of, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely it'd be to recommend. And you can benchmark it. So if you go to that website there, customer.guru/Net Promoter Score, then you can see for particular industries what the benchmarks are. And really, when you get above about 70, that's when you're looking at a good Net Promoter Score. So Marks and Spencer in this instance wasn't scoring too well. Costco was scoring well. And often we see with these bigger companies that when they introduce them, that's when the value of the company goes up. the company does well. So that's reflected in share price in this particular case for Costco, who introduced NPS, Net Promoter Score. What it can also do then is start to push people to think about recommending you, think about referring you. And this is called social proof. So Robert Cialdini wrote Influence and Persuasion, a couple of fantastic books about how to sell, how to influence people. And he says that people often feel most comfortable copying the actions of other people. So if they know somebody else is happy, they're more likely to think, well, I'll probably be happy as well. The difference between a recommendation and a referral: recommendation is just sort of general statement about what's good about your product, your service, or your business. And a referral is a specific introduction to somebody, whether that's verbal, whether that's written, a potential client, customer, or key recommendation. And those recommendations, those reviews, those general things can go in all sorts of places. So hopefully you've got a Google My Business listing. Go on your website, go on your various different social medias, specialist sites, use it in media coverage, use it in press releases, those kinds of things. So lots of, you get those reviews and recommendations, lots of places you can share them for that social proof. So existing customers, a great source of information, a great source of additional business. So if we talk to them, if we get the feedback, Net Promoter Score is a great way to do it. It helps us to retain the customer because they know we're engaged, they know that we care about them. It increases the chance of getting repeat business. It helps them to refer and recommend us and reminds them that we want them to do that. It allows us to improve our products and services because we get that feedback about what people love and what they don't love, and we can feed that then back into our marketing so we can find more of the people that are like the existing customers that we've got. So really, really lots of benefits spending time talking to, asking questions, getting feedback from your existing customers. If you want to chat about that or anything else, Michael and I are always happy to chat about business. So that's pause for thought for today. Focus on your existing customers. Don't forget about them. Don't get too busy. The deal, help your existing customers because you're out looking for new business. See you again soon.